chat. We are so back. I don't even know if my headset works. Let me check. Let me check. Yo, yo, yo. I forgot to shut off the map building again. Yikes. Okay, my mic still works. Okay, bet. I wasn't gonna stream until I built the map, but I didn't want to mess this up, so I figured I'd stream. Just in case I mess it up, I could watch it back. I have to combine all this into one prefab so I could bring it to the main map. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's do this.
Call of Duty Black Ops really pushed the envelope forward for zombies. It set the precedent to release with multiple zombies maps at launch, and the first DLC, being Ascension, is still to this day one of my favorite maps of all time. And I remember back in 2011 when that map pack came out, I spent hours trying to get better at that map, discovering new areas where you could train and different strategies that you could do with multiple players. So naturally, when I got wind of the next map pack coming out, being in some Soviet winter wasteland, I was extremely stoked to play it when it launched. Call of the Dead offered a continuation of the story, hinting at details that were from World at War even, that weren't fully uncovered yet until some of these radios that were found on the map. At the time, I didn't really dive into the story, I dove into the maps and how to play them and trying to get better at them. But here, with this series learning lore, I'm going to change that. So if you're new to the zombie storyline, learn it alongside me, and if you've known it all along, and you've been studying it since the beginning, I hope you'll have me. But starting off right where we left off in the last episode, Ultimus has left Ascension. Richtofen recovered his diary there, and he learned that he needed the Vril device, something that we're going to get into in a second, from the Siberian facility, Call of the Dead, for his plan. Which the events of Ascension took place on November 6th, 1963, while the events of Call of the Dead happened in 2011. Specifically March 17th, which was actually 2 months before the actual release of the DLC. So this marks the first time that a map took place present day, or at least very near present day, and it happened on the set of a George Romero film. And what is really awesome about this, if you don't know, is George Romero is extremely famous for his zombie movies. From Night of the Living Dead to Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, Survival of the Dead. Wow, there's a lot of the Deads in here, actually. And what I think is even cooler is that they were there filming a zombie movie at this Siberian facility. And if we take a look at the plot summary for the map, we can get an idea of what this movie was going to be about. The story begins with our heroes stranded in the frozen wastelands of a forgotten Siberian outpost. On the hunt for the origins of the Yamatic Element 115, they head for the site of an ancient meteorite impact crater. But their ship mysteriously runs aground. In the midst of a horrific snowstorm, our intrepid adventurers inadvertently unleash an unearthly horde of ravenous zombies. From the island's deserted lighthouse to a shipwrecked ocean liner and a precarious zip line in between, it's kill or be killed. And with shiploads of zombie Russian soldiers, scuba divers, and sailors that rise out of the frozen ground and icy waters, it's not going to be easy, especially considering the deadly surprise that one, and somewhat notable, zombie has in mind. And of course, what is this one zombie that they're talking about? Well, the actual zombie that kicks off the events of Call of the Dead. But before we get into those events, let's take a step back and recap why this Siberian facility exists in the first place. Because it was there long before 2011. Well, all the way back on June 30th, 1908, a meteor containing element 115 crashes near the Stony Tunguska River. This river, of course, supposedly being the one in Call of the Dead. And this happened back before Group 935 even existed. In fact, it wasn't until another 27 years that Maxis formed Group 935 in order to study this element that the Germans found near Germany. And 9 years after its creation, Maxis requests Germany to fund Group 935 more. And in doing so, they create multiple more facilities such as Kino, Verrückt, and on October 3rd, 1940, a research facility in Siberia near the Tunguska River, where this meteorite hit the ground. Which I imagine the meteorite impact crater that George Romero's film was going to be about is the actual one in the zombie storyline. And during the outro of Call of the Dead, you can even hear him talk about him stumbling upon some old Nazi documents.
Years ago, I did research for a World War II movie. I came across some old Nazi documents. I couldn't believe what I was reading. Element 115, necromancers, raising the dead, real creepy stuff.
We're completely surrounded! Come on!
The coolest thing? Some of that crazy shit happened right here.
Leading him to knowledge about what happens at Call of the Dead back in those days, and making him want to create a film at the location. But what exactly happened at the Call of the Dead research facility? I mean, obviously, there was a lot of 115 there, so it would make sense that, I mean, they were mining 115, so that was happening, sure. But it's a research facility, so what kind of research was taking place? Well, we learned last episode with the Kino facility, they were trying to test with drugs and mind control to eventually make their undead army. And at Call of the Dead, well, the test subjects are a little bit closer to home.
Log entry 1471. Date, September 2nd, 1945. Diary. Another day, another failure. This time, subject N3WB just blankly at the floor. The Russian subject still smells like urine, even after he was given a bath and deloused twice. And I think I might have killed the specimen from Mexico. His spleen is on the floor, and he's not moving anymore. I can verify with certainty, however, that the barrier is not located in the spleen. Dr. Continue, no matter the cost. I wonder what he might think of the experiment with the little girl. Nice! Drop that! That's my spleen!
As you heard in that radio, Dr. Richtofen is testing on subjects. One that he called N3WB, or Newbie. Another one, which is a Russian subject that smells like urine. And a third one that he thinks he might have killed after removing his spleen. Which I said last episode that Pablo Marinez was not theorized back in Black Ops 1, and boy am I wrong. Because apparently right here in the radios of Call of the Dead, he is definitely mentioned. Now, Pablo has a long history, but for the events of Call of the Dead, back in September 2nd, 1944, Pablo Marinez, a Mexican spy, was captured by Group 935 at Der Eisendrache. And if we look at the next entry in the Chronorium on May 9th, 1945, in his cell, Pablo writes of visions of the Great War and describes a great battle against a strange demon-like creatures who were trying to devour Earth. So it's very obvious that this man has seen some things. And more specifically, things that we won't learn in the storyline until much later on. So let's get back to Call of the Dead. After Pablo's death, Group 935 needs another test subject, and currently all they have is Newbie and the Russian. Newbie being Takio, and the Russian, of course, being Nikolai. We covered back in the Learning Lore episode for World at War how they got these subjects. Nikolai was captured by the German forces after the Battle of Stalingrad, and Takio was taken prisoner by Group 935 after he reported to the Emperor that the work being done at the Rising Sun facility at Shinonuma is unacceptable, being probably one of the only characters so far with a strong morality. Well, the date of that first radio was September 2nd, 1945, and just 4 days later on September 6th, the events of Verrückt took place, where Dempsey, John Banana, Smokey, and a fourth Marine arrived at the asylum facility, found it overrun by zombies, and fought off as long as they could. With Dempsey being the last one standing at the facility, he was apprehended by Group 935.
Log entry 1472. Date, September 10th, 1945. Dear Diary, today was a good day. The swelling has subsided. The ice helps. They made liverwurst for lunch. It was... I still have not had any luck reprogramming any of the live specimens. Dr. The key to unlocking the human mind will be more easily discovered on someone who isn't dead yet. I am not convinced. The army is stored until I can break this trust barrier. Oh, apparently someone in security found a spy in the group. They are delivering him from place the one that I broke. Oh.
Dempsey was delivered to Dr. Richthofen at the Siberian facility after he was captured from Verrückt. So far it seems that the research that was done at this Siberian facility back in the days of the Reichstag was very grotesque and brutal mind control. Which, I mean, the research that was done at Kino wasn't the best either. I mean, they were using drugs and film, sure, but it definitely seems like the stuff that was done at Call of the Dead is a lot worse.
Log entry 1473. Date, September 17th, 1945. Dear Diary, today... Dirty Nazi. Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. That's right. You want some of this? I'm taking you home in bags. Freak. Nine. I don't think so, America. Okay, now. I suppose this must be the replacement specimen. Time to get to work. I can still hear you. Hit him again with the stick!
And their goal is to wipe these test subjects' memory and make them controllable. And on the path to do that, it seems like a lot of beating was taking place, as well as most likely unhumane prison conditions. But now Richthofen has the group that will eventually become Ultimus. He's got Nikolai, Takio, and now Dempsey here at the Siberian facility, and the next entry that he has in his diary is about them.
Log entry 1474. Date, September 20th, 1945. Dear Diary, it would seem that the OSS realized that we captured one of their spies. They tried to send a rescue team into Verrückt. That was all first batch of test subjects. I suspect there are other moles in the organization. Dr. Harvey Ina and Dr. Peter McKay, to be precise. Dr. McKay include any Americans in Group 935, no matter how much genius they held. Stupid Americans with their apple pies and baseball and children. But I digress. The new American test subject is interesting and muscly. His intellect seems low, but his will is strong. Like the others, he doesn't seem to know who he is anymore. Unlike the others, he keeps breaking the restraints and yelling at me. Test subject N3WB is still staring at the floor, muttering what sounds like some kind of proverb over and over again. I think his mind may have been destroyed by the process. Oh, well. The Russian subject recently began responding to stimuli, but only after injecting him with a new serum made primarily from vodka. Perhaps this is a breakthrough we've been waiting.
First, we hear Richthofen talk about a spy being Dr. Peter McCain and a rescue team that was sent into Verrückt to try and save him, where they met the first batch of test subjects, those at Verrückt, who were zombies at the time. He also mentions Dr. Harvey Ina, who, after World War II ends and Group 935 is disbanded, will eventually be hired by the Soviets and form the Ascension Group, which we talked about quite a bit last episode, so if you missed that one, you should go check it out. But lastly, he talks about the 3 test subjects that he has, the first being the American, who is interesting and muscly. He says his intellect seems low, but he's strong, and like the others, he no longer knows who he is anymore. So they clearly wiped the memory of these subjects first, but what is still left is, well, I suppose their personality. Even though they have no memories, they're still themselves, they're just a little bit lost. Kind of like a person with amnesia would be after they hit their head too hard. Since Dempsey is still breaking his restraints and yelling at Dr. Richthofen. And Takio is staring at the floor, muttering Japanese proverbs over and over again. And as for Nikolai, the only thing he responds to is vodka.
Stay away from my vodka!
But unfortunately, the recording is cut off right before he talks about this breakthrough, although I have a feeling vodka was not what he was going to say. I really wish I could hear the rest of it, and it turns out that we will eventually in Tag der Toten, but Black Ops 4 is a long ways away. But as for right now, Dr. Richthofen has his 3 test subjects that will become extremely important for the rest of the zombie storyline. But during this time, as we discussed in World at War, he is beginning to have a lot of resentment for Maxis and Group 935 in general. Richthofen really just needed one more straw to break his connection from Group 935, and that straw was the Wunderwaffe DG2, a weapon system that he's been working on for years, and just a few years ago in 1942, he completed the first prototype. His hope, of course, is that Group 935 will distribute that in mass for the German army, but it turns out that that's not the case.
Log entry 1475, date October 1st, 1945. Dear Diary, as for the control group tests, they have been put on hold. Recently, I discovered that Dr. Max does not plan mass producing the DG2 as he swore he would. If he won't move those plans forward, then I will continue following his dream of an undead army. He doesn't deserve his perch of power. He doesn't know what to do with it. But I know just what to do with him. And I'll take care of that little brat if I get the chance to.
Richthofen vows to no longer work on this undead army, a dream of Dr. Maxis and the German Reich. He believes that Maxis does not deserve his perch of power, and that he knows exactly what to do with him, and if he gets the chance, he'll also take care of the little brat being Samantha. And this plan that Richthofen had for the disposal of Dr. Maxis ended up taking Samantha with him, and we went over this in detail in World at War. These are the events of the De Rees facility, which are actually covered quite well by the radios found on that map, which happened just before Shinonuma, which was the first map that Richthofen started using Ultimus, those 3 characters that are currently at the Siberian facility being tested on. So after Richthofen trapped Maxis and Samantha in that test chamber and teleported them, he must have gone back to the Call of the Dead facility in Siberia, got his former test subjects, and then went to Shinonuma with them, and thus Ultimus was born. But as I stated before, shortly after this, World War II ended, and Group 935 was disbanded on November 5th, 1945. And after this, the United States and the Soviet Union divided up the resources found at these various research stations, and I would assume that this Siberian facility, being in Russia, was given to the Soviets. Now, as for what they did with it, I have no idea. They most likely just mined there, took as much 115 as they could for their own research at the facilities that they created. But after some zombie outbreaks at some of those facilities, such as Ascension, and the eventual collapse of the Soviet Union, in 2011, George Romero finds this facility through those Nazi documents and goes to film his next movie there. Which this leads us to the events of Call of the Dead. On March 17th, 2011, after entering the Rift, Ultimus arrives at the Siberian facility in 2011, where they find themselves trapped in a closet while George A. Romero films his latest project at the location. Samantha, of course, following Ultimus anywhere they go, unleashes an undead outbreak, and the film stars fight the undead horde, ultimately recovering the Vril device for Richthofen, and afterward, Ultimus teleports to Shangri-La in an effort to acquire the next artifact required to defeat Samantha, the Focusing Stone.
Fuse must have blown. Better see if we can find a new one. Oh boy. Here we go.
The main goal of Richthofen returning to the Siberian facility is to find this golden rod, the Vril device. But unfortunately, he was teleported into a closet, or a vault, I suppose, locked inside and unable to do this himself. And of course, in playing Call of the Dead, when you go up to that door, you can hear the characters talk back to you.
Is anyone out there? We're stuck in this room!
But as for the Vril device itself, at this point at least, it's not exactly obvious where this came from. But one thing that does seem apparent is it's most likely not human-made, and the way that Richtofen talks about it seems to hint at it being some kind of artifact, perhaps from an alien civilization, which we'll learn soon that that is exactly what the Vril are. But before we do that, of course, we have to actually get the thing, and the nice thing about Call of the Dead is the Easter egg is possible to be done solo. The only difference, of course, is that there's more steps that we won't get to see that you only find in the co-op version of the Easter egg, Assemble Cast. And just a funny note, the solo version is called Stand-In, like it's the stand-in Easter egg for solo players. Kind of funny. So we will be doing the solo version, but I'll also mention those other steps as well as we go along. And as I mentioned before, right before the events of Call of the Dead, the cast of George Romero's next movie was filming a scene in front of the lighthouse when a single zombie comes out of the window and begins to attack them.
Boys, let's get to work.
For God's sakes, he missed me again!
Oh, cut! Are you blind, man? Like this.
Ow! Oh!
See?
No, Jefe, I do it like this. Daddy!
I do it like this.
Get back to hair and makeup. You don't look dead enough.
Come on, let's go.
This zombie being a real zombie. He grabs George Romero and jumps with him over a railing, which is a very strange behavior for a zombie, but you gotta remember they're being controlled by Samantha, and the only reason that that zombie is there in the first place is because Ultimus is right below them in a closet. So Samantha presumably controlled the zombie to attack specifically George Romero and make him essentially, the boss of this map, which, oh my god, is he annoying on Call of the Dead. The lone zombie comes from this window right here next to the lighthouse, so if we go ahead and hop on into it, we can see right around the corner, it's just a little area for zombies to spawn and come on out the window at ya. There's nothing too terribly interesting about this window location, although certainly you could speculate where that tunnel might actually lead to. It definitely seems like it's some sort of entrance to this research facility that's somewhere inside the mountain, which unfortunately is just not here on Call of the Dead, but we can always use our imagination. And another thing to note, the area where George is pulled over the railing doesn't really make sense. If we look on the other side, of course, it's just right in front of the lighthouse, so I'm not sure what was supposed to have happened here between the area where he fell to and where he ends up spawning in at the very beginning of Call of the Dead. It could be that the fall perhaps killed him, maybe, and the zombie brought him into the water. I'm not exactly sure what the solution is to this, but then again, I guess there doesn't really need to be one. Now, something I do find quite interesting is Ultimus does not seem to be present down below before you turn on the power that's on the ship. And when you do turn on the power, it kind of looks like a rift or something is created at the lighthouse. And of course, afterwards, if you go up to the door, their voices can be heard.
Hey! Is anyone out there? We're stuck in this room! Ah! I'm blind! I'm blind! In my eyes! Holy shitballs. Me too. What did you do, Richtofen?
I did nothing. There's a light switch. Oh, I think I found a lever. Perhaps this will turn on the light.
No! Ah! Let go! That's not a lever! Richtofen!
Shh! Did you hear that?
Oh, sounded like someone outside. Hey, you! Hey! I need vodka!
Hello? Can you help us? There must be a blown fuse or something. It's dark in here.
Oh, man. That's rough.
Sure! Why wouldn't we help some evil-sounding stranger while we're busy fighting zombies?
So it's my guess that turning on the power is what creates a rift and allows them to travel from the Ascension facility to here at Call of the Dead. And since this Siberian facility was controlled by the Soviets after World War II ended, there's been some modifications that Richthofen was not able to account for, such as this door that is supposedly in front of some kind of closet, but it has a pipe leading to it and a control panel as well, which doesn't make it seem like a closet. My guess is this is supposed to be Richthofen's lab. I mean, it would only make sense that if Richthofen was going to teleport to a specific location here at Call of the Dead to be able to get his Vril device, that it would be the laboratory that he worked in, the thing that he's the most familiar with. Although I don't know if this is the case, I highly doubt that this is just a closet. It certainly is something, otherwise the Soviets wouldn't have built this door here. But either way, our first objective is to find a fuse, because the fuse box here in front of the door seems to be missing one. And luckily, this is really not a very hard thing to do. It's just right upstairs in one of 3 locations. Oh, there it is. Look at that.
Okay, this looks like it. Lights are on. Now what?
Ah, much better. Now I can see the problem. We must have gone too far into the future. Look, the teleporter's completely broken. The time circuits are damaged. We'll have to reroute them.
Wait, you took us here on purpose? Where are we?
A better question, Dempsey.
Oh, look at this blinky light. What's this button do?
Nikolai! No! Ah, great, Nikolai. You've just activated the MTD security system.
Good.
Excuse me, your side. Yeah, the handsome one. We need you to locate the power sources of the security system. They look like little half domes with a hole on top. Kind of like a big... Forget it. If you destroy those, it should shut down the security system.
Little half domes? Not exactly super specific, but I'll see what I can do.
And after you put the fuse in the door, the lights turn on inside of this closet, and Richthofen sees a teleporter. You can actually hear him talk about it. So again, clearly not just a closet. But just like with the teleportation from Derice, it seems that they have traveled too far into the future, and thus ended up trapped behind this new Soviet installation, a door that's locked. Nikolai, being the bubbly drunk Russian that he is, finds a flashing light and presses some buttons, and in doing so, he initiates essentially a lockdown for the facility. And Richthofen says that we need to locate these things in order to be able to break this lockdown. The game does make this pretty easy, considering they put one of them right next to the door. So it's very easy to find, but I imagined at the very start, it's not apparent what you have to do with them, but it is pretty simple. All you gotta do is throw a grenade, and the explosion will disable it. And immediately when you come outside, you can see another one in the distance near the ship, although this is a lot harder to see when the fog's in. There are 4 of these scattered around the map, the 2 that I already showed you, one more right here just off the side of the ship, which is definitely one of the hardest to blow up, because for some reason it seems to delete your grenade unless you perfectly have it blow up right on it. And then lastly, there is one more just outside the stamina building by the docks. And after doing this, when you go up to the door, this can be heard.
Hello? I blew up all the little half-domey thingies.
Okay, that did the trick.
Ah, yes. Takeo, can you hand me that screwdriver?
Okay, you...
Is that all he's going to do this trip?
Takeo, let's dance, you barfing fool.
So now that they're occupied, I was wondering, could you do a special errand for me? I need you to retrieve a very important device. It looks like a long, stiff, hard golden rod. With fingers on the end.
You guys have to be so cryptic. It's kind of a bad day.
Takeo throws up. It seems like he's a little bit seasick, or I suppose teleporter sick, and Richthofen asks you to find a golden rod. And of course, this is the Vril device. Up to this point, these first 2 Easter egg steps are the same in both the solo and multiplayer versions of the map, but this is where that changes. The next step normally in co-op is to get Nikolai some vodka, and this requires 2 players normally to break some ice and drop a bottle of vodka for the other to catch. And there's also another step involving Morse code radios, where you need to go around the map and hit them in a specific order that I believe actually changes every time you play, which when done correctly, you can hear a Morse code sound effect and a glowing light by the mule kick machine. But here in solo, none of that is required, and the steps that we've already done is all you need to do for this to happen. And the next step of the Easter egg happens up inside of the power room, or I suppose the bridge of what was once a ship. You need to go in here and turn the steering wheel to the 5 o'clock position. Pull the left lever once, and the right one 3 times. And after doing this, a foghorn can be heard in the distance, and a submarine emerges from the water. It seems that this step is somehow signaling the submarine to surface, like this is something the Soviets had planned ahead of time, and if we fly on over, we can see this submarine. It's kind of cool. It's a tiny little sub, actually, which doesn't look like a real sub to me, at least, but it definitely has a green light on it, and it's definitely shining at the lighthouse.
Maybe now we can see a way out.
Unfortunately, there isn't anything inside of it, and beforehand, it is not underneath the map. At least, not that I've been able to find. And I suppose while we're out here, we might as well go check out this orb in the sky as well, which was before flashing Morse code, but now is just a solid light, and it seems like when you get close to it, it disappears as well, which is kind of strange. I'm pretty sure this is just a source of light that is constantly trying to face the player, and whenever you get too close to it, it's confused and doesn't know where to face and seems to disappear. But oh my god, look at that from a distance. You know, I don't think when I originally played this, I realized that there was an actual submarine out here, but yeah, there definitely is. Normally though, when you do this Easter egg in co-op, this green light will not have appeared yet, only the submarine will come up. And in order to activate this green light, instead, the player has to do another step, matching the foghorn that it emits. The cast members do this by interacting with these foghorns in a specific order within a certain amount of time, thus needing more than just one player. But even after doing this foghorn step and the green light having appeared, it will not shine directly into the lighthouse, like you can see it doing here. Instead, these cast members have to enter a code to the lighthouse in order to get it to reflect it down through the middle. And this is done by rotating dials in a certain order that interact with each other to get them to display the correct code. Now, this step is very possible to do in solo, so I'm not entirely sure why this isn't part of the solo Easter egg, but for some reason they left it out. But finally, there is one more step to obtain the golden rod, a step that is shared between both versions of the Easter egg, and we need the wonder weapon of this map, the VR-11. And as far as I can tell, no one really knows how this weapon was created. Its name, VR-11, is very close to the spelling of Vril, so it would make sense that this gun was perhaps made by the same people who created the Vril device. But then again, looking at it, it definitely kind of looks human-made as well, so I'm not exactly sure. It might be the case that the mechanism inside the gun that actually does the VR-11 stuff, turning zombies back into humans or giving a player an instant kill, essentially, could have been created by those aliens that made the Vril device. And the actual gun that we see on Call of the Dead was created by the Soviets, because I'm pretty sure this gun uses their camouflage. Or I suppose at least the one from the Black Ops universe. But one thing that is for certain is this is a very strange weapon. Compared to the wonder weapons of the past, like the ray gun or the Wunderwaffe, this is not set to kill zombies in mass. It kinda just has a specific purpose in mostly acting like a monkey bomb when you shoot it, or when you shoot your friendlies, giving them an instant kill. And I do think because of this, the VR-11 is not a fantastic weapon. In solo, it's practically useless. And even in multiplayer, I mean, it's kind of eh. But it is definitely a pretty cool gun, and it certainly adds character to the Call of the Dead. And as I said before, we need its ability to turn a zombie into a human for the last step of the Easter egg. One of the members of the cast must use the VR-11 on a zombie, turning him into a human, and it'll run towards this green light in the lighthouse, being sucked up into it towards the top. And in order to complete this step, the player must kill him before he reaches the top. And if you don't, well, it seems like he enters some sort of portal and is teleported somewhere. But when done correctly, this happens. The recently revived man goes into a downed position when you kill him, and again is teleported, but this time, out of the teleporter comes the golden rod. Almost like a gift, as if this was like some kind of sacrifice. And at the bottom of the lighthouse, the player can grab it.
This looks like something.
And with this golden rod, you can go back over to the door and give it to Richtofen through the same tube that you would have given Nikolai his vodka.
You guys get your thing okay?
Kinda sick that I have to ask this, but Richtofen, is that a rod in your pocket?
9. Let's go. I've got us what we need.
Yeah, drunk!
Thank you so much for your help out there. Bye-bye!
Hey, what up? Should I get out and push?
The fuse box mustn't short it out. Again!
Oh, come on. This better be more rewarding than last time. Stupid Gersh. Vodka!
Another fuse. Do you think this is a hardware store out here?
And what I do find funny about this voice line is Dempsey even says, "This better be more rewarding than the last time, stupid Gersh," which, after Ascension and having that first ever Easter egg, I do remember the community kind of feeling like that was it, like we wanted a present at the end of the journey, you know? And Ascension really didn't give us one, but Call the Dead did. And with this teleporter failure, the last step is to knife the fuse box, fixing the fuse somehow, and the game gives you this reward.
Do I get a prize?
Thank you again, stranger. Perhaps we will see you another time. Goodbye.
Yo, sauerkraut. You never did tell us why we came. Wherever this is.
All in good time, my clever Dempsey. All in good time. Ah, that's what you get for eating raw fish.
Wait, are we getting someone's wedding list by mistake?
The game gives you a Wunderwaffe DG2, which, story-wise, I don't think there's a reason for this, to be honest. Although I gotta say, it is pretty cool, but only lasts for a limited time, so at the same time, it's not the most useful thing in the world. So Richtofen now has possession of his golden rod, the Vril device. And he did so essentially by tricking the cast that you play as in Call of the Dead into helping him without really knowing what they were doing, and also without Ultimus knowing what they were doing, because the entire time they were having a party, drinking some of that vodka that, if you play the co-op version of the Easter egg, you would have given them. And you can hear it as well in those ending words that Dempsey is starting to question this. He doesn't know why they're there. Why do we have this rod thing? What are we even here for? And of course the doctor's response to this is all in good time, my clever Dempsey. But that is Call of the Dead. As you heard at the very end, Ultimus used the teleporter inside of their closet to go to Shangri-La. With the Vril device now, Richtofen can continue his plan. And I'm not exactly sure what happens to this cast of Call of the Dead, although I don't think they make it. I assume they all die here at this Siberian facility, because there is an entry in the Chronorium on April 11th, 2011, shortly after the events of Call of the Dead. Following the disappearance of the Call of the Dead cast and crew, Romero's assistant, Sally, begins to search for her boss, and her journey leads her to Shangri-La during an eclipse, which sends her back in time to April 25th, 1956. Which this will become very important in a moment for Shangri-La, but what it does tell us is that Romero is nowhere to be found as well, and I would assume Sally's first place to look would be the Siberian facility that he has been filming his latest movie at. So after these events and the cast and crew has died, Samantha most likely stops doing her zombie stuff since Ultimus has left on a teleporter to Shang, she's got more important stuff to deal with. And as for George Romero, perhaps he's still left there somewhere at the facility, underneath the water, where no one can find him. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below. It helps me out a ton. And of course, make sure you're subscribed so you can come back for more. And if you want to watch more of my content, you can click one of the videos on your screen right now. But if not, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay awesome, and peace out.
Thanks to Reckoning, we have learned more about Richthofen's attempts to clone his family than ever. And these cloning attempts, featured first in Terminus and then Shad Vale and Reckoning, can give us insight to a lot about this game. From the mechanics of the world, how souls may work after the Tag der Toten ending, Richthofen's true character, and even the writing shift for the end of this game. All of that and more all tie back to Richthofen trying to make clones of Mary and Samuel, his wife and son. Black Ops 6 has been the journey of Richthofen attempting to restore his family to life after their murders, and the consequences this journey has wrought on the world. Pretty much anything that we see happen in the events of Black Ops 6 comes back to this, even stuff the Sam AI does, as she was created precisely to assist in his cause. However, if Richthofen ultimately succeeds just using the Sentinel artifact, what was even the point of the cloning? All of it can seem confusing, so before we get into the metatextual aspects of the story, let's get a bit of a refresher. The start of this story begins in Terminus Island, with Project Janus hiring of Dr. Modi and placing her in charge. She was selected for a very specific purpose that I'll play now.
And to conclude our island tour, we have your atrium lab. So, what do you think?
It's an ideal space. Very Spartan at the moment. I assume the regulatory parties have not made their pass yet. Once they've made their structural safety recommendations, I will, of course...
Dr. Modi, I would never waste your valuable time with such trivial matters. This is your island. I trust you to make it your own. Now, energy and weapons will pacify the backers, but I chose this with your biological experiments in mind.
That part of my portfolio is considered controversial. Many have called it torture.
We are a rare breed, my dear doctor. You and I both know the price of true progress. It is that work which brought you to me. I will not allow you to be shackled by idealistic bureaucrats. In return, I expect you to deliver, by any means necessary.
That won't be a problem.
Ah, good. Then we understand each other. Welcome to your new home.
The intel doesn't directly tell us Modi's exact goal here, but it shows that whatever it is, it's based in biological experimentation and clearly something that would normally be forbidden. One of Janus's earliest feats was the construction of Terminus Island, and it seems the entire purpose of this was to set it up for Dr. Modi. If you scour the rest of the intel in Terminus, we will continue to get vague teases of biological horrors of Modi's creations, but not any closer to her reaching her goals. However, in Guthrie's hidden room on the crashed boat, you can find some documents not contained in the intel menu, one of which is an email from Richthofen to Modi. It's dated Saturday, May 19th, 1990, 9:09 PM. Subject: cellular regeneration trials. I had you to complete one mission above all. regrowth of a complete and functioning human body from a single DNA sample. So, attentive players got the proof of what Modi was after here. Richthofen had her attempting to clone someone from a single sample of DNA. However, the following line makes it clear she is failing at this mission. From here, Richthofen would give up on Modi's cloning and pursue more magical means with the Sentinel artifact. But we wouldn't get more context on that until Shad Vale. Now, as to where Richthofen got the DNA samples of his family, unbeknownst to me, you wouldn't think of trying to retrieve samples right after your family's deaths, but it is Richthofen, the crazy, mad guy after all. While the ending of Terminus did reveal Richthofen was after the Sentinel artifact, it wasn't until a Shad Vale intel gave us Richthofen talking to not-so-fluffy Samantha's dog about something weighing heavily on him that we would get to hear more about how his plans had changed. I'll play that intel now.
Edward Richthofen, Project Janus, Cloning Clinical Study Report. Addendum, December 23rd, 1987. Not now, not soon. Do not look at me with those big brown eyes. You cannot possibly know how I feel. Do you feel like a failure? No. I am the failure. When my son died, I was not there. I did not see the body. When Modi told me the new clone experiment had been successful, I was eager to see him for myself. That was foolish of me. His skin was thin, pale, sallow, but I still clung to hope. But this fragile vessel soon became a mere shadow of the boy. The soul I had hoped for, but still I needed to be with him, the way I was not there for Sammy. Over the coming weeks, every visit to the nursery brought more pain for both of us. His blood vessels began hemorrhaging. His muscles and tissue were rupturing. After 14 days, he was no longer even recognizable as human. It became clear that euthanasia would be a mercy, and I gave the order. I do not know what to do next. Perhaps Modi's biotechnology is not the right way to proceed. We are running low on DNA samples. I miss you so much, my son. Since my current projects are not bearing fruit, I may need something a little more esoteric. Perhaps it is time to talk to my own father and take his methodology more seriously.
Here, we get to hear Richthofen tell of the first seemingly successful cloning Modi had done. As soon as she informed him she was successful, he rushed to see the body. However, Modi's experiment had actually failed. The boy was unhealthy and slowly got more and more distorted and in pain. Eventually, after 2 weeks, Richthofen ordered his euthanasia. But it's clear that this single failed clone of Samuel, having to be put down, even if Richthofen no longer saw it as his son in his mind, weighed extremely heavily on him. They begin to run low on DNA samples, and Richthofen decides to instead look to his father's more esoteric and magical knowledge more seriously in a final desperate attempt. This would be the beginnings of his journey to find the Sentinel artifact. Once we enter Janus Towers in Reckoning and begin to explore the laboratories within, inside the mutant research wing, we can find, floating in a pod, these clones of Samuel and Mary, now looking disgusting like zombies, likely within the pod since before Richthofen was thrown into the dark ether 10 days prior into the liminal space. As a result, these clones have begun to seriously decompose due to the Janus Towers facility shutting down and collapsing, and probably the mainframes disconnecting from the tubes, no longer being powered. Their skin looking gross. But if Richthofen had given up on the clones, why are they still here? Why bother even keeping them? I think that line about running low on DNA samples may be the setup here. Let's jump forward to Reckoning's intel that I'll play now.
This is Max Caldwell, Maintenance Director, Project Janus. I don't know what I'm going to do with these recordings yet. I just know I have to make some kind of record. I need whoever hears this to understand what's really going on here. Director Richthofen is attempting to Please don't even say this. He's attempting to rebuild his deceased family. He's shipping in clones. I've seen him. Watched him. Struggle to exist. I've seen a few of the boy. I saw one that was supposed to be the wife, I guess, but it's like they're puppets with missing strings. Cold and pale. They struggle just to walk or even look him in the eye. I mean, at first, he acts like they're real. He cares for him, but when they don't improve, he leaves him with the doctors. Tells him to harvest organs and samples. He says everything holds up better when they're not put under. So they're awake. For the whole damn thing. I mean, they feel it all. I can't sleep without seeing him in my mind. They hear him, too. I mean, it's painful for him to try and talk. They sound like dying animals or something. I hear it every fucking night. He's got too many friends in high places. I can't end it alone. But it has to end. It has to.
Max Caldwell, a maintenance man at Project Janus, ends up seeing more than he bargained for. He sees Richthofen still cloning his wife and child, shipping in clones, even if they are failed ones. It seems he had Modi not only continue the experimentation, but continued sending the clones to Janus facilities in West Virginia for further experimentation. However, now, in an extreme shift of character, he ends up letting Janus doctors not only put them down when they fail, but specifically to harvest their organs while they are awake. What the hell? How horrifying. This seems insanely cruel and especially contrasting with the prior intel from Shad Vale, where he was so disabled over a single failed clone of Samuel and that tragedy. To then become so callous after that, completely disregarding the emotions and feelings and any empathy for these clones that he's literally created, like he did with the one before, seems out of character, honestly. I think this is partially due to a major shift in the writing of Richthofen to try and make us see him and feel him as less redeemable and generally more evil in Reckoning, so that there's more of an actual choice between choosing whether to side with he or the Sam AI in the alternative endings. I've discussed more on this in prior videos, so I won't harp on it too much here, but I think it's a genuine disservice to Eddie Richthofen, who was supposed to be the innocent Richthofen, to do this to his character for the gimmick of a choice ending. While he definitely has done a ton of evil actions before, he was always presented as tactfully and in a morally grey area, doing whatever it took to save his family and going too far. For example, with interrogating Samantha Maxis in Block 8 to unlock her powers in Black Ops Cold War. Whilst this was a horrible thing for him to do to her, it ultimately led to his goal of trapping the Forsaken and creating the Sam AI, all moving the goal forward to bringing his family back. Whilst he did something horrible, it made sense. Whereas this is cruelty for the sake of being cruel, and it even makes less sense when he's being cruel to clones of his family that he should be having more empathy towards than the regular person. These are people that he's literally willed into existence that only have consciousness because of him, and they basically exist entirely in pain. And he showed empathy before. I can understand him slipping and losing his mind more and more in the 5-year gap between Cold War and Black Ops 6. I can understand how the more and more time went on, the more he was running out of their DNA samples, the more clones that fails, the angrier and more callous he got towards these clones and started to lose any empathy for them. However, this makes the ending of A Reckoning, where he does get his family back, which I think is the most likely choice for being the canon ending, if both are not canon and the multiverse is not returning, like I've been speculating before. If this is the canon ending, well, it makes that ending not feel deserved at all. Yes, Richthofen has done horrible things along the story. He's literally been human trafficking, smuggling drugs, all of the horrors that Project Janus has been up to. However, like I said, there was always a purpose for this. So far in the story, I haven't seen any prior examples of him being cruel just for the sake of it. Whereas here, they're just making him cruel. There's so much less nuance than who the character actually used to be. Ironically, his character has been assassinated, just like his family were. And that also means that, yes, he gets his family back, but at what price? If his wife found out why she's even alive in the first place and what Richthofen has done to basically other versions of her along the way to lead to her being restored to life, she wouldn't want to be with him anymore. She would hate the man he's become, especially because the reason why she was giving the whistleblower intel on Kruger was because he was actually up to the same things with dealing weapon arms, drugs, and human trafficking, and now Richthofen's been doing the same things. Honestly, if Samuel and Mary knew why they are alive today and knew what the price was to be alive, I don't think they would want to be alive anymore. Certainly not want to be anywhere near Edward Richthofen. This makes Richthofen seem so much crueler than he's ever been presented previously in the story. This is just pure evil. And if his attachment to empathy has become so disconnected over the course of the years that he's completely unempathetic to failed clones of his wife and son, then how is he going to treat his restored wife and son with respect? He's going to have so much trauma, and now he's become such an evil man, he's essentially broke bad. He's literally like Walter White now.
I thought I made myself very clear.
You got dipping sticks.
He's far too gone, way past any sense of reality, that I can't imagine him treating his wife and son well in continuing their relationship. I think he's going to be abusive to them. I think he's going to be horrible because he's still going to have all of that baggage and trauma of the past years since their deaths. He is a completely changed person to when they last encountered him, even if he is able to cover up everything towards what he's been doing in the meantime so that they don't find out. His personality is eventually going to slip out. He's not going to be able to just keep that within. And honestly, I feel like with Reckoning's ending, Trek do not want us to think more about this. I do think Richthofen is deserving of having his family back, or at least I did before Reckoning. Yes, he had done horrible stuff, but like I said, up until this point, the cloning situation has just completely broken that bridge. The idea that this was too far was always kept in an area of debatability. It was always nuanced, and you could have different arguments with different people in the community about different perspectives, and his character was shown to be someone suffering at the very same time, and in great pain, so we could at least empathize with him somewhat, even if he was doing evil things along the way. He was a man driven, obsessed by the deaths of his family, to the point where he threw morals out of the window in order to try and get there. And I've uploaded other videos talking about my issues with it, so let's keep the discussion about in-universe reasons for this. I think in terms of the lore, in-game reason of why this happens, it's a follow-up to that line in the prior intel about the lack of DNA samples, combining that with the harvesting of organs and samples here, and allowing the clones to suffer because the samples hold up better. This all suggests to me that he is desperately cloning them over and over and over again to keep fresh DNA. But surely, the more and more DNA that's just being extracted from new clones, it gets destroyed more and more and altered from the original Samuel and Richthofen. Because the clone DNA normally degrades so quickly, it's likely that he mostly, if not entirely, is out of DNA samples left over from the original bodies. And so instead is forced to keep churning out these failed clones to harvest their DNA, spending what little time he can with each set of them before he is forced to harvest them before they decompose. But why does he still need a DNA if he now plans to use the Sentinel artifact? I believe it may actually require it. We see in the Sentinel artifact attunement machine, there is a glowing vial placed at the base if the artifact is attuned to it. The vials are the same vials we see on the grey Samantha Maxis skin we get for the DLC, and is not the Ethereum vials from the Modern Warfare Zombies intro as we were previously expecting. Rather, there are two slightly different coloured vials. The one in the machine by default when we arrive is the one for the Sam AI, a purple vial. Her vial is already in the machine because she arrived here with the artifact before us and had time to begin to set up for her plan, with us only narrowly escaping her in time. However, if we choose Richthofen before entering the boss fight, we instead remove the purple vial and replace it with a blue one. So yeah, that's the choice between Richthofen and Sam that ultimately changes the ending. Whether you put in a purple vial for Sam or a blue vial for Richthofen makes sense with his colour of eyes when he was in control of the zombies being blue, and purple makes sense with the Sam choice considering that her eyes are also purple due to her dark ether powers, just as we see in the Reckoning ending. But what exactly is this vial? vial. Let's go back to the Reckoning Easter egg. A step available at any time after opening Pack-a-Punch, but one that can be saved until last, is to acquire a keycard from a zombie in the Mutant Research Lab. With this keycard, open a locker nearby to the clones of Richtofen's family. Within, you will find a tube containing what he says is the DNA of his family. So that means two things. One, these tubes are DNA samples that the artifact is attuned to. So the Sam AI likely got the sample she was using from Janice's archives of Samantha Maxis's eggs and DNA samples, as mentioned in the Mum Genes intel, as well as probably the sperm of Ravenov, which is just an absolute wild story. I'll play that intel for you now.
What the hell? Carver M, Weaver G, Gray E, Maxis. Oh, Sam. You motherfucker! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Whoa. What are you doing? They took them! They harvested them! Took what? Our DNA! Richthofen took our fucking DNA! It's all here! Me, Weaver, Carver, they have Max's eggs, Maya! Her fucking eggs! But how the hell they even have those? After she returned from the Dark Ether the first time, Richthofen, he ran tests on her. He tortured her. It was horrific. Weaver told me about it while we were locked up on Terminus Island. Even if I'd known earlier, it's not like I had the power to change anything back then. Oh, fuck, I was so useless! That has to be when they took them. She never told me. Why didn't she tell me? Maybe she didn't know. Oh, God, I can't. Grab what you need and trash the rest. What now? Now, I am gonna make myself useful.
So each tube was a vial of DNA to attune the artifact to, in order to make it create a body based on that DNA. But secondly, the proximity of this DNA to the tube containing the clones of his family affirms our earlier observation. He has been continuing the production of clones to maintain DNA of his family, specifically because the artifact will still require a DNA sample to function the way he wants it to. But if he could theoretically continue to create clones infinitely as long as he harvested DNA, and seemingly got to the point the suffering it caused them no longer bothered him, why not just continue to perfect cloning technology and eventually get there? Why even bother with the worldwide hunt for the Sensor artifact at all? I think a line back in Shad Vale alluded to it.
This fragile vessel soon became a mere shadow of the boy. The soul I had hoped for.
The clones cannot and will never work correctly, no matter how many advancements they make, technology or magical-wise, whatever. Why? Because they are soulless. Even if he perfectly recreates their bodies, it would not be them. We've talked before about how cloning someone perfectly, down to the very atom, still isn't enough. You'd only get their shell unless you could restore the memories and experiences that are the soul. You can watch that video linked on screen now for a more deeper discussion, including the topic of Ava Jansen as well, that I made, talking about how I thought that the original characters would return before, of course, we now know they have. Looking at Richthofen's current actions through that lens makes the picture clear. All the desperate cloning, the organ harvesting, the cruelty, it's not just for the sake of perfecting a body. The Sensor artifact still needs DNA to build a vessel, but a vessel alone can't bring someone back. That's why the clones will never be right, no matter how advanced the process gets. They have no soul. That's where the Sensor artifact's power and its hunger for echoes comes in. Just like Archibald's echo in the tomb was pulled forward from history, the artifact could do the same for Richtofen's family, drawing their essence, their memories into the bodies it builds. The DNA gives them form, but the memories give them life. Without body, they are just empty copies. So he needs to preserve their DNA with the cloning, but then acquire the artifact to restore their souls as well. This connection between the Sentinel artifact and the souls of people long gone will also likely come into play with Black Ops 7 and the return of the original characters, but only time will tell. I think that basically is going to be the process. Somehow their life essence still exists. So in summary, when we activate the Sentinel artifact and Richthofen gets his family restored, you see that there's a blue orb that comes out of the solar system, the universe, in the sky, and then it goes and forms their bodies. I think essentially the DNA is what allows their bodies to be created, but the Sentinel artifacts is what retrieves their soul to go into the bodies themselves, meaning they would be completely soulless otherwise. And the fact it opens up a universe suggests to me that their souls are pulled from alternative dimensions of them, if it is basically pulling from the infinite potential of the old prior multiverse that got plunged into the dark ether in a similar way to the Agathan device at the ending of Tag der Toten collapses that multiverse. It's kind of reopening it to pull their souls from. And this is further seen with the Sam choice, because it seems that most likely the DNA recreates her body, but her soul is then pulled out of that universe. So essentially then the Sam AI can put her own soul, her own essence into the body merged with the real Samantha Maxis's, which makes you wonder who exactly makes Samantha Maxis her. We've seen so far the Sam AI has been distinct from the original Samantha Maxis. She has her own unique memories, her own personality. Yes, there's many similarities, many similar memories as well, many shared memories, but they are distinct characters. However, I wonder if the real Samantha Maxis' soul has been used for her to get a body. Will she essentially now become just like the real Samantha Maxis? I don't know. We will have to wait and see. That's a nuanced discussion, and personally, this ending is left so ambiguous that there's not really too much to take out of this. So for now, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below. Is this character shift for Richthofen too much to you? Do you think he's become too callous now? Do you think I'm right in surmising the Sentinel artifact was a necessity because they would also need souls, even if they were perfect clones? Start a discussion in the comments and I'll do my best to read as many as I can. I've already posted a whole video explaining the plot twist about Richthofen's family's deaths and their assassination as well, which will be linked on screen and in the description. That's also a bit of a jarring watch because, as it turns out, it was all a misunderstanding all along, which makes Richthofen even seem more cruel for what he did to Samantha Maxis and what he's done with Weaver and the rest of them, locking them up on Terminus, when, as it turns out, it was all at the fault of Kruger, which is why I think that plot twist is so bad that I explore more in that video. But anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest Call of Duty news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.
Okay, Call of Duty, World at War, zombie mode. Now that's the bomb, man. Think on it, bro. They're not just zombies. They're Nazi zombies.
Nazi zombies.
Yeah, man. SS Waffen Troopers, too, which are like the baddest ass Nazis of the whole Nazi family.
Zombies are dead, man. What difference does it make what their job was when they was living?
Dude.
To conclude this video, I want to shout out the fact that I finally decided to make a Patreon and Cameo account, both of which will be linked below if you want to help support the channel. On Patreon, you can sign up for the lowest tier of just $1.50 a month to get exclusive access for my Discord, where we can discuss zombies lore, trivia, or whatever you desire. A place where you lot, my community, can better connect. Your names will also appear at the end of videos thanking you. For $5.50 a month, you get all of that, and I will be doing exclusive monthly Q&As. And for $16.50 a month, you again get all of that, and I will be doing exclusive lore videos, such as unpacking niche parts of the Treyarch documents I've been breaking down on my channel that don't as much suit a main channel video. For the highest tier, only for those with the ability to and who really want to help out the channel, you get special bonuses I've yet to determine and verbal shoutouts at the end of every video. Over on Cameo, I can do funny videos reading lines from zombies, memes like how do we tell him, birthday wishes for friends or family, or whatever else you desire, practically anything. Of course, none of this is necessary, just watching and enjoying the videos helps me immensely, and
this is what the world's most advanced PC looks like.
Today, we're diving into some nostalgia and playing some of the oldest custom zombie maps ever made across 3 legendary COD titles, World at War, Black Ops 1, and what many consider to be the peak of zombies, Black Ops 3. So in my part 2 of this series here, I thought I played the oldest custom zombie map, but I was completely wrong. You guys told me in the comment section that the map that is considered to be the actual oldest map is called Dead Sand Elite. So that's what we're going to be playing today. So let's get to it. And guys, right here, we actually have the oldest custom zombie map. This is actually insane. And why the hell do we have a Panzer for 100 points? I mean, I'll take it. You can hear the gunfire in the background. Is this D-Day? I think it is. It makes so much sense. Wait, it doesn't make sense. It's like reverse D-Day. We got the Nazis coming to us, and we're supposed to be defending here. Can we come in here? Pause? Looks like we can. There's a door here for 1K. These guys are running. It's round 1. I'm playing on keyboard and mouse, which is not my specialty. These zombies have purplish blue eyes. Purple eyes, that is. We're about to get sandwiched. Hold up, wait a minute. I knife this guy, dude. That was a little bit rough, man. They came from here also, right? Please tell me there's a wall weapon somewhere I can pick up. Yes, there is the Gewer. I don't know how I feel about this, but we're gonna pick it up. And oh my gosh, you could actually lean in old COD zombies, huh? Only on PC, right? These guys are coming. They're coming fast. Why are they running? It's only round 2. All right, objective is to explore the map, of course, because I don't think there's like Pack-a-Punch or anything. This is definitely before the days of Pack-a-Punch. We're gonna get this door open ASAP. We almost have enough. 20 more points. They're rushing like they like some vodka. Come on, big dog. Let's get this door open ASAP. Oh, we could climb up this ladder too. And we have the FG42 with a bipod. That is actually freaking awesome. I actually want to climb up here, so let's go up here. I feel like that's like the first time oh my God. They're coming in fast. Hold on. Wait, don't kill me. It's a 2-hit down. I forgot. And don't mind my clan tag there, okay? Yeah, it's just there. All right, let me check over here, though. There might be something we can open up over here. What is that icon right there? Ah, there seems to be another tunnel section. 2,000 for this door. Seems important. All right, so we're going to get that FG42. It was quite wonky going up that ladder. And again, this is like the first ever custom zombie map, so we can't say anything. And to be real, this is like better than what I can do. I just got a perk for killing him. I just got jugged, dude. I want to get our points to like 2,000, maybe 2,400 before we open up that door back there so I can grab the FG42 and go crazy. Why are they rushing so much? And it looks like they're running with a gun in their hand. They have like an invisible weapon. What the hell is that, dude? Reload the weapon ASAP. We got to check out what that power up is. What the heck is this? Right bunker reinforcements? Oh, that's awesome, dude. Right there, we have some support. That is freaking awesome. These guys were innovative back in the day. I mean, they do now, but I've never seen anything like that before. We almost have enough to buy that FG42. We're about to get sandwiched. This will probably be really good on co-op. Yeah, we're about to get sandwiched real bad. Oh, no! Yeah, that's pretty hard. I'm telling you guys right now, World at War Zombies was not for the weak, especially custom zombies. This is real intense. I forgot how much Black Ops 3 zombies like babied us. The movement really made it a lot easier. And also if we include the gobblegums. So we almost have enough for the FG42 and the Gewer. I think we have enough now, actually. All right, let's get this open ASAP, huh? Round 3, these zombies are not here to play. We got the FG42. Let's try to climb up this once again. All right, yes, we finally did it. And we have some grenades here. Steel hand grenade. Yeah, I butchered that. My bad. Can they come up here, though? You know what? I don't want to find out. Not right now. And the stock of my weapons invisible. Oh, yes. And we got another perk here. Let's go. What do we got? Speed cola? I think yes. I think yes. Please tell me they're not going to spawn behind us. I think we're good. So the next goal is to save up 2,000. Get another free. Oh, let's go. Oh my gosh. Oh, did I just shoot a friendly? I'm so sorry. All right, that's so awesome. It's like Richthofen? Sergeant Yoslav. That is totally not Richthofen. Can I get your weapon? Bro, why are you gonna be all dramatic? Just die already. Thank you. You're holding your arm like a Vegeta, dog. That's when you know you lost. But I'm loving these power-ups. Only thing is, I don't think we get points from these guys killing. And they're just shooting into the abyss. Like, what you shooting at, fam? Stop killing my zombies. You guys are a gift and a curse. They're just killing all the zombies. I only killed like 2 that round. And we have another power-up. Is this gonna be more NPCs? Left bunker reinforcements. Where is that left bunker at? Right there. Let's go. Less points for us, so let's not go. And you guys see that prompt there, right? It says mount your weapon. Oh, nice. You can mount your weapon. And what the hell? Well, it looks like we got some zombies shooting RPGs at us. Oh, no. We got a naval bombardment going on from zombies. How? But we need about 900 more points so we can get that other door open. The zombies have broke the line. They are making their way to me. I actually do not want these NPCs to die. They're low-key clutch. And we just got another perk, Quick Revive. Does nothing in World at War for me on solo, so, whatever. I do want to see this mount in action, so let's, are they taking pop shots at me? Oh, let's kill him right there. He's the one doing it. Nice. That bipod came in handy. I didn't think I was actually going to use it. Did our NPCs die? I think they did. They last about 2 rounds or so. That's good to know. I kind of missed them already. All right, we have enough for that door. Let me make a crawler. Probably gonna be really tough to make a crawler. Let me hold this grenade. Merry Christmas. Crawler, please. Yes, and we got 2 crawlers at that. What the hell? Bro's walking with 1 leg. This is so gimmicky, bro. All right, whatever. Get this door open. That was creepy as hell. Like this room. You must ascend from darkness. Nocturne and Totem quote right there. We got the MG42 right here. That thing is bananas. Go through this little tunnel area. We also have the STG-44 right here with some more Stahlhandgranate grenades, okay? I don't know how to read German, so my apologies. Oh, this guy's on us. Chill, big dog. Let's see what we got here. CustomCod.com. Shout out to these people, I guess. Ooh, we got the mystery box upstairs, and we have a door here for 2,000. Let's see. We might get lucky at the mystery box. Ray gun, hopefully. Hopefully, the ray gun. Or a bar. No, we get mortars? What the hell is this? Oh, this is from the main campaign. I remember this. We got some 60 Mike Hotel Echoes right here, boys. Look at this thing. I feel like I'm holding on something I'm not supposed to be holding on. Like a dildo. Never mind. What the So yeah, I could have avoided that death entirely, but then again, that blast radius was insane. Like, I felt like I was far enough. There's no way. Times like that is when I wish I had PhD. But PhD did not exist. Shout out to Ascension for bringing it to us, huh? I'm gonna grab this STG. Let's go crazy. That's a beautiful weapon, man. I swear. Why did the Germans have, like, the best weapons in World War II? And let's get this door open. Is there any more doors? I think we've seen the whole map now. MP40 right here. Salvation lies above. Oh, no. We got one more door. Did they spawn in here? No, I think we're all good on that, too. No, we got right bunker reinforcement with a perk. What perk is that? Double tap. Not double tap 2.0. We just shoot faster. Oh my goodness. What the hell? Super power up? We get every single power up? That's lit, man. And also, what's that perk right there? It's like a grenade. Do we not take grenade damage? I don't want to test that. And that's weird. The mystery box is like less than a normal price. It's 875 points. And we got the plate gun. We got the freaking plate gun. What the hell? They can come through here? Nice to know. And do we have like mule kick? I got 3 weapons, bro. All right, last zombie it is. Down for the count. Let's get this open. Yes, sir. And I think we're at the top. We're here, boys. We are here. Another door. 3,000. We got a Magnum here, not a condom. And we got the MG42. The weapon of nightmares. And what is over here? More areas. Seems like a place where the zombies come from. We have another door here for 2K. I'm actually very intimidated. Very intimidated right now. Yeah, they're coming. And that alarm is blaring. And they're shooting rockets at us. I need some right bunker, left bunker reinforcements, dude. All right, let's get some plate gun action. They're coming from all over. This is our final stand. And no, reloading this is going to be a bitch, dude. I think the Nazi zombies are going to win. That's how it's feeling.
Welcome, lads, ladies and gentlemen, to the top 5 custom wonder weapons. In this video, we'll be diving into the innovation that the community has delivered to bring us all original, unique wonder weapons into zombies. Naturally, to keep things fair, weapons that are directly based off of an existing Treyarch wonder weapon will not be considered for this list, as we'll be focusing solely on weapons we have not seen in zombies before in any capacity. Whether they're all original or based from another game, this list is comprised of the very best the community has to offer. Coming in straight at number 5, we have the Voltgewehr from Shoot House. This is an all original weapon top to bottom. We've got a custom model, we've got custom animations, and a custom unique effect. The standard use for this weapon involves shooting a zombie amongst a horde, and once ensnared by electricity, shoot it in the head and it will cause a devastating blast, throwing all zombies around it into oblivion. I like the unique approach to the functionality of this wonder weapon, and I think it absolutely looks gorgeous. It's very clear that Chicken Hat Man, the developer of both the wonder weapon and the map itself, put a lot of effort into the visuals in particular of this weapon, with an all original design that gives off quintessential wonder weapon energy. The build process for this weapon is pretty straightforward, and I like that. All you need to do is grab a shovel, dig 3 sites that spawn parts, grab a 4th part by killing a raps drone, which you'll do through natural gameplay anyway, collect some souls in a dedicated room, and then kill the zombie that has it in its possession. It's a clean-cut quest that most people are going to do the majority of through natural gameplay anyway, and I think it's fitting considering that this weapon needs the use of other weapons to harness its full potential. So of course it does kind of go without saying that this weapon will not save you from being trapped in a corner, but thankfully upgrading the Voltgewehr is actually dead simple. You can feed it straight into the Pack-a-Punch machine found in the Zeppelin, and you'll be granted with the upgraded variant. Naturally, this variant is more effective. Much like the Wunderwaffe from back in the day, it turns the blue electrical energy in its container into red, which I think is really cool. The blast is amplified, and more to the point, taking this Sturmlinjengewehr into round 100 will actually yield positive results. You can absolutely still cause chaos in this high round with this weapon. It's not so broken that it's like foolproof. You are still going to have to put in the work, and I really like wonder weapons with this kind of dynamic because it doesn't give you an easy win, but also doesn't become useless, and I feel like that's where wonder weapons should sit in terms of their power. So combining all of these things together, it's very easy to put the Voltgewehr from Shoot House very comfortably in that number 5 spot. Coming in at number 4, we have the Tractor Cannon from Rainy Death by Hitman Veer. Yes, this is the exotic weapon from Destiny, brought into COD Zombies in the most beautiful way possible. Not only is it housed in probably my favorite custom map of all time, but it comes complete with fully reworked animations, including inspect animations as well, and of course for zombies, new functionality wherein it functions a lot like just a cooler version of the Thunder Gun. Put simply, if you find yourself in a sticky situation, all you have to do is fire this thing and your problems go away. It is a very, very powerful wonder weapon, which kind of makes sense when we go through how tedious it is to actually get it. The build quest does involve a lot of running around. It does involve a few tedious steps and passing through multiple rounds to get the kills and requirements needed to get your hands on this weapon. There's radios that kind of trigger themselves based on proximity that you don't actually interact with, and then you'll need to use those radios to memorize an order to shoot some crates. And the kicker is that you actually have to use a wonder weapon that you can only get from the mystery box to shoot said crates with. You'll also need to collect souls from these electric crawlers that spawn not very frequently, so you're having to push for a few rounds and, you know, do a lot of stuff to get this Tractor Cannon, but it is so worth it. Upgrading this weapon is nice and simple. Again, you just push it through the Pack-a-Punch machine and you get an even more powerful variant. And yes, yet again, this is another weapon that works amazingly well on round 100. Even in this high round, you will destroy everything in your wake. Even the boss zombie can be taken down with a fair few shots from this thing. The effort is most definitely worth the reward, and just complete with the whole custom animation rigging and the general aesthetics of the entire weapon, especially when you actually fire it. The Tractor Cannon from Rainy Death definitely deserves to be in the number 4 spot for this list. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we have 2 weapons that are both from Doom and both brought to us by Radiant. The first of the 2 is the Gauss Cannon, found within Sinister Sanctorum, which is a map also developed by Radiant. This is, of course, a huge freaking gun, and its functionality is dead simple. Shoot a massive massive beam of energy in a straight line, and anything in that line dies. Simple as that. It doesn't hold much ammo, but to be fair, with the way this map is orchestrated, you're frequently buying ammo in between rounds, so that I guess is counterbalanced. Acquiring this weapon is simply a game of chance. In this map, there is kind of like an item shop, and you just basically need to wait for it to appear in the item shop, and you'll be able to just grab it and wield it to your heart's content. Obviously, visually, it's very striking, it's fully animated, and the effects are just absolutely brutal. I love it. This was no quick port. It's very clear that each individual element of this weapon had a lot of passion put into it, and it is incredibly effective. And yet again, this is another weapon that functions extremely well on round 100. Much like in the rounds prior, you just shoot this thing straight and anything in its wake is gone. It is an essential weapon for surviving in this map, and it definitely deserves recognition in this list. Unfortunately, there's no upgrade variant, at least from what I could tell, as there is no Pack-a-Punch machine in this map. But moving on to the other Doom weapon, it is of course the BFG 9000, found in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. This is still Radiant's weapon, but brought to us in Deadshot's custom Five Nights at Freddy's map. And in this one, the Wonder Weapon has a similar-esque functionality wherein you shoot a straight beam of energy. However, you're going to want to shoot it over the zombies' heads because it effectively arcs out electrical surges that absolutely annihilate any zombie that comes into contact with it. It is extremely powerful if you use it right, and acquiring it is nice and simple. You just need to keep spinning the box and eventually you get it. In any format, on any round, this weapon will deliver. Much like the Gauss cannon, it's fully animated. It's got all kinds of awesome effects going for it. It's freaking huge, as the name implies. And just seeing these Doom weapons, it's just such a dope thing to see in zombies. It's so fitting as well. Upgrading the BFG 9000 is very simple too. You just need to pop it into the Pack-a-Punch machine and you get the upgraded variant. And yes, this also works amazingly well on round 100. You can keep popping off with this thing. It does deliver drops as well. So if you want to grab some death machines, if you want to grab a max ammo, you could do all of those things with this weapon. It just straight up won't let you down. If you ever find yourself playing this map, I urge you, get your hands on the BFG 9000. It is such a blast to use. And both of these weapons will get you out of corners so long as you take into account a brief delay in firing. All things considered, these two weapons, they are relatively similar in how they function and how they look, and they both definitely deserve a podium position in this list. But moving on to number 2, we have the Atomwaffe from Atonement. This weapon was a collaborative effort from Dan Hesterman, Divine Fury, Haribo21, and Madgaz, who developed the map itself. Now, before we take a deep dive into the weapon itself, it's worth mentioning that this is a fully custom Wonder Weapon found in a map from 2019. So this was way before its time. What it effectively is kind of like an elemental meteor, like 115 powered cannon with multiple barrels, sending out an incredibly powerful blast of energy that majestically blasts zombies straight out of your field of view. What I love about this weapon is that it's a chargeable weapon with a functional dial on the model itself, so players can keep track of the actual blast that they're emitting from this weapon. Of course, there's 3 stages. There's a normal blast, which is showed in green, then you've got yellow blast and red blasts. Now, a fully charged shot from this Atomwaffe will not only send zombies flying, but will also electrocute and chain damage, much like a Wunderwaffe, to zombies in the surrounding area. It's an immensely powerful tool that thankfully isn't too stressful to build either. All players will need to do is feed these extractors to get vials, submit the vials to the weapon table, and they can get their hands on this absolute beast of a weapon. Like I said, it's fully custom modeled, custom animated. It's got a lot going for it, to be honest. I think it looks absolutely stunning, and the functionality, especially for 2019, felt so unique, and it felt like a truly brand new custom Wonder Weapon, which is of course what this list is all about. This weapon also had an upgrade quest. It was also pretty dead straight. All you really needed to do was use the Atomwaffe to shoot the banks that you deposited the vials into, throw some nades outside of the map to hit certain meteors, and then kill some keepers that drop some stones, and then you can pretty much walk straight back up to the weapon table and purchase an upgrade for 5,000 points. This of course gave the weapon a new look, buffed the ammo, and buffed the damage output. Now, unlike the other weapons mentioned in this list, the Atomwaffe does have a rather significant drop in damage in the later rounds. If you fully charge it, the electricity will still handle business for the most part. However, even that, some zombies survive. In the very high high rounds is definitely not going to completely save your life in corners, but it does still kill and does still function to an extent. But I'd definitely say with this ammo pool that it's not really worth using on round 100 plus, mainly because most zombies survive even the fully charged shots, and so you're pretty much better off just using a dead wire normal weapon. However, one neat little party trick of the Atomwaffe is that a fully charged shot from this upgraded variant will destroy the Panzerhound. So I guess it's a good backup weapon in that sense, because those rounds are pretty terrifying and you're having to run around to try and find a bazooka. You don't need to do that when you're wielding this bad boy. All things considered, especially for the time that it released, which is also kind of impacting my influence on where this goes in the list, the Atomwaffe more than deserves its spot in the number 2 position. Before we head into number 1 though, I want to go through some honorable mentions, and I'm gonna fess up, there's a lot of honorable mentions. To be honest, this may as well have been a top 10 list, but nonetheless, let's hop in. Our first honorable mention goes to the Shino Arashi found within Operation Harborage, another Mad Gaz map wielding another all-custom wonder weapon that shoots this incredible green ball of energy that not only lures zombies to it, but drags them straight into the underworld. It is a super cool wonder weapon that definitely deserves to be mentioned. Another honorable mention going to the Shadow Scythe found within Rainy Death. Getting kills with this melee weapon drops some artifacts that once grabbed allow you to do a devastating blast that completely annihilates everything in its wake. The Scepter of Atlahua found within Atlahua was almost not quite considered for this list because it is using the origin staff animations, but it does to me look like a completely custom model for a weapon that can send entire hordes straight into the afterlife. We also have Rick's Revolver found within Internment, which when upgraded can incinerate entire hordes of zombies and lures them to this orb with this pretty dope effect. Aesthetically, this one is one of my favorites and does remind me a lot of the Alistair's Folly. The next honorable mention goes to the Puke Ray found within Mori Rebirth. A pistol baby gun hybrid with custom animations brings us this weapon that basically is kind of like turned in a sense. You shoot a zombie and it will quite literally puke on the surrounding zombies, which will then infect those zombies, causing them to also puke. It's a chain reaction of puke is what it is, but you can't say it's not unique, and it definitely deserves to be mentioned in this list. The next honorable mention, I did say there was a lot of them, goes to Longinus's Legacy found within Ve Victis. This recently got a buff, so it's definitely worth mentioning now. And I suppose with this, the key is volume. It's an elemental spear that once shot at the ground slows zombies and all enemies for that matter and slowly kills them. After the recent update for this map, throwing an abundance of these spears into the floor will cover you. It is now incredibly powerful, definitely worth keeping in your inventory. It's got a striking model as well as striking general visual effects. Coming into the last few honorable mentions now, we have the Lasercraft Model 1 found within Rainy Death. This weapon, again with custom animations and a unique model, shoots sharp beams of electricity in a straight line through the horde. Whilst it's not the most effective wonder weapon, it is definitely awesome to look at. And of course, we couldn't have a custom wonder weapon list without singing our praises for the L2 pressurized harpoon found within Leviathan. This weapon, once acquiring the upgraded crystal variant, functions both as a devastating one-time blast akin to the Thunder Gun, as well as an electrified rope that very effectively kills anything that steps foot in it. This dual functionality is super unique, super fun, and I feel like this is probably one of the most innovative wonder weapons on this list in terms of functionality. And the last honorable mention is a bit of a tricky one because it is directly based on a weapon from, I believe it was Advanced Warfare, but as it wasn't based on a wonder weapon, I guess I can allow it in this part of the list, and that is the HZC Proto Buffer found within Dead High. This weapon could be upgraded into 4 very unique variants, each with their own style of play. All of them are a devastating laser rifle with fully automatic functionality, but one upgraded variant emits a ball of plasma that you can shoot into to emit devastating blasts in its surrounding area. A second upgrade variant allows players to tactically shoot a ring of healing aura to an area. A third upgrade variant lets players actually shoot a teleport point that you can beam yourself to, and a fourth upgrade variant allows players to shoot a ball of electricity that slows and disintegrates zombies in its wake. Having all of these variants, I mean, it had to be mentioned, and Dead High is an awesome map that everyone should go play. But enough with the admittedly huge abundance of honorable mentions, and on to the number 1 spot in this list. It goes to the Murder Vault found within Rainy Death. Where to start with this wonder weapon? Well, it might be probably my favorite wonder weapon in zombies at all, period, including Treyarch maps. Fully modeled, fully custom animated with an all-new effect, this weapon effectively shoots a ball of energy that then sends heat-seeking electric surges to nearby zombies and completely destroys them. Which means, yes, you can shoot this thing directly at the sky and have these heat-seeking energy surges rain down, which looks so freaking cool. You can bounce the energy straight off of the floor, use it how you want to. This weapon will proactively find targets for you and completely annihilate them. Acquiring this weapon is dead simple. You just need to keep playing and collecting the alternate currency found in this map until you've acquired 100, and then you can go to the trader pod and purchase this weapon. Now, it's not designed to save you from corners. Unlike the tractor cannon also found in this map, it's not going to get you straight out of any scenario instantly, but so long as you plan ahead, you'll find that this weapon is incredibly effective. Upgrading it is a blessing as well, because for this weapon, all you need to do is just take it straight into the pack-a-punch machine, and it's as simple as that. And once upgraded, it will send even more trails of heat-seeking energy to nearby zombies. It's got decent mobility, it's nice and quick to reload, it's got a custom inspect animation, it's not tedious at all to acquire, and honestly, it kind of just ticks all of my boxes. And I like the fact that it doesn't get you out of corners instantaneously. I think with how easy it is to actually get, I wouldn't want it to literally tick every single box in terms of productivity, much like, you know, the Apothicon Servant. I think that would be way too overpowered, but this weapon undoubtedly gives you a ton of reward for just doing things you're gonna do naturally by playing the map anyway, and I love weapons that follow that format. And this weapon, thankfully, is exceptionally well performing on round 100. It's pretty much no different on round 100 to how it functions on pretty much any other round. So this is an absolute must for anyone trying to reach the high rounds in Rainy Death, and you can actually wield both the Murder Vault and the aforementioned Tractor Cannon at the same time to make one absolutely devastating combo. Another touch that I love about this weapon too is that any zombie that gets ensnared by the energy that this weapon emits will be met with the most just aggressively gory death imaginable. It's a complete burst of blood and parts, and it's just absolutely just insane to look at. It definitely lives up to its name, I'll tell you that much. Clearly, a lot of love and work was put into this map by Hitman Veer, as well as these weapons, and in my opinion, the Murder Vault is just the absolute pinnacle of what a wonder weapon should be, and to me is the clear candidate for the #1 position in the top 5 custom zombies wonder weapons. But that concludes this video, lads, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Cheers.